my internet friends. It's day number 12 in the series 20 Days of Chief Architect X15. Today's feature is on focal blur. I'm Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions. Let's get started in our favorite software. Yes, we now have this option in rendering called focal blur. I've shown an example here with it set up. Let's close this camera and I'll show you how we can get this going. You can change this on a per camera basis, or you can make it part of your default. Important parts to know. I'm going to back this camera up just a smidge so we can kind of point out what parts we need to know. Anytime you click and drag like a full camera view, you start with this spot that the camera is standing, and you drag and release at this spot right here, this X. So wherever this X is what Chief recognizes as, let's take a kind of length of that. That's 8'9". That's about 105 inches or so. Yes. So this depth, Chief doesn't have like a focal length, like a lens focal length. You've got your 35 millimeter, 50 millimeter, 75 to 200 millimeter, or sports lenses that are really long. It just has the f-stop, the aperture setting. And so you kind of remember this spot right here when in the first default control of the camera of rotating it, you're going to rotate it about this radius right here. Okay, so that spot is kind of the focal distance, if you will, if you want to relate it to a camera lens. So wherever I put this target is going to be that distance. Now your aperture is going to reflect whatever that radius is. So if I were to put this target on this basket right here and have like a 2.5 f-stop from this direction, things start to blur out, beyond this. The smaller the f-stop, the closer. Well, I could still have a long radius and put a long distance here and put a small f-stop, like 1.0 even, on this basket, and this would be super sharp. But a small f-stop means that if this is my focal plane right here, parallel to the camera, or perpendicular to the camera, the smaller f-stop means that shortly behind it and shortly in front of it is where things are going to start blurring. So if I were to put this target of the camera onto this basket here and have a short f-stop parallel to this plane perpendicular to this plane right here to the camera, and have a short f-stop, the blur starts here. Let's change this to blue. Blur starts here and here and gets blurrier and blurrier as we travel this direction. So this would be out of focus, and this would definitely be out of focus. All right, so let's go into some examples of that. I'm going to put this target on the first basket, and we'll open up this camera. Now to turn on the focal blur, I'm going to use my Edit Active View toolbar up here. You can do that with your Tools, Active View, Edit Active View here. And to simply change the depth of field options, we have this new set in the specification dialog box now. Out of the box, this is unchecked. So if I were to uncheck this, everything now is in focus. You can see this is in focus, this is in focus, even out here is in focus, and here and up close is in focus. I'm going to drop a, let's put something over here. I need to turn off my filter. There we go. What am I looking for? Interiors. There we go. Let's do some furniture, and let's do a, let's just search for a hutch. No, not a hutch toe board. Storage furniture. Let's see what we've got. Here, I'm just going to put a china cabinet. Delete this window and door. Put a china cabinet here so we can kind of see what's going on. All right, so something closer to the focal, I call it focal length, but the depth of field, focus distance. Focus distance is what Chief Architect is calling this, okay? So that's depth of field disabled right now. Everything's in focus. We'll go back to this and turn depth of field enabled on, and our f-stop is 2.0. Our focus distance is 105 and a 16th, and we've got that targeted right on this basket here, all right? So you can start seeing how this basket, just a couple feet beyond, is in the blur, and things that are closer in plane to the camera are starting to blur over here. This out here, notice even the backdrop and the railing out here and that rocking chair are definitely blurred, okay? So I'm going to play with this and say a 1 f-stop. This is sharp right here, but you'll notice the faucet is blurred. This is blurred, it's farther away. This is definitely getting very blurry. And this is starting to blur too, closer in the distance. Let's change that to like a 4. F-stop of 4. So you can, that is making a little more sense. The rocking chair is somewhat blurry, not super bad. The railing are definitely starting to blur. This is sharp. This is okay-ish, right? It's to me it looks about like the distant, what my typical vision would be in real life. Let's move this to in between these two baskets, and I want to show you the difference of what that plane, that focal plane looks like. So perpendicular to this camera view is right here. That's my focal distance right here. And if I go back to my camera, and I'm going to change this to a 2, f-stop of 2. You'll notice that, let's change that to 1.5. That basket in the background is getting kind of blurry. So my focal distance is right about where this faucet is. This is sharp. This is kind of blurry, but now as I rotate this around, let's go back to here. I'm going to do a split screen so we can now see that my focal plane is here. So you would expect, and it would make sense, that both baskets are in focus. But you can see that the dining room set beyond that is out of focus, and this is kind of starting to get blurry here. the cabinets back on the wall. So beyond that focal plane here, this is starting to get blurrier and blurrier as it goes further back. So another, I think this is a cool feature. If we expand this, you can really see how the hutch is out of focus. The rocking chairs is starting to get out of focus, and this dining room is definitely blurred and out of focus. So a fun new tool in Chief Architect X15, this depth of field options, not quite like a camera, but let's go to a 4 f-stop. Okay, now this is kind of pretty much in focus. This is getting blurry back here. If I were to change that to a f16, f-stop of 16. Now this is definitely in focus. This is definitely in focus. These are all in focus. This is more like what we see in without the depth of field enabled. I'm going to change this down to say 10. Now the backdrop's starting to get blurry, but everything inside is definitely in focus. A fun new tool in Chief Architect X15, that is the depth of field options, where we can change f-stop and have some control over our focus distance. Thanks so much for watching these videos. If you like the content here with this series or any other of my videos, click like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you get notified each time I drop a video, and leave comments. I enjoy the participation with each of you.